and welcome to our new episode of Healing the Healer, the series. We're still focusing on the different arts of New Age healing. With me is a beautiful storyteller, talent, amazing storyteller. And I bet when we get to her different roles, she is more than just a storyteller. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ayanda Khumalo. Thank you for accepting the invite and spending this time with me so you can tell your story.
Thank you very much. It's all my pleasure. And thanks for having me.
Oh, I could not wait. Ever since the first approach, I was like, I hope she's going to respond. I hope she's not going to think there's this stalker on my inbox that is irritating me and hitting me up everywhere. But we'll get to the how we met. First up, I think introduce yourself and tell us who is Ayanda before we get to Ayanda the writer.
Right. Okay. Ayanda is a daughter. Mom has kids. Khumalo. I'm the last born, got an older sister, and I was born and raised in Guamashu.
Lovely to meet you, and I'm sure we're going to get to know a bit more about you. So I know Ayanda the writer, who I met via Facebook, who is using the platform of Wattpad as well as Visionary Writings. And you mentioned that you are a daughter as well, the last born, the spoiled one. What other roles does Ayanda play?
I play a role of a mother. My sister has 3 beautiful kids. Her oldest daughter, she's 27, which makes me a grand. So I'm a grand.
Oh, yes.
And I'm
a young granny.
A young granny. And I'm loving that particular role. I'm also a mother to my sister's kids. And it has made me very mature because I had to grow up very early and to lead by example. So I would say that I am a bit spoiled because my mom always put me under her wing. I've learned a lot from her, being a single parent, and I've understood the role of how a mother should act and how a mother should be. Well, I'm career driven. I studied. Currently working at a financial institute. And I'm just one of your outgoing people. Not basically outgoing, but I'm outgoing in terms of family outgoing.
Oh, yes.
I'm just grounded. I'm just one of the people that
Awesome. Interesting that you work in a financial institution. I used to work for Standard Bank until 3 years ago. So it's amazing some of the careers that creatives go into. And it feels like it's like this tough job that you have, and then you get home and you escape when it comes to your creativity.
Yes, of course, that's how I feel as well.
Okay. So when did Ayanda the writer come about?
Whoa. It came to me as an epiphany. I don't want to lie. From being one of those, an active reader. From an early age of being an active reader. I think I almost libraries around my area fees for their books that I never return.
I was about to say.
Yes, from being an active writer, one day it just came to me as, write something. To me, it was almost like a diary or like a poem that I was trying to write, and then it's incorporated into a book. And when I saw people following it, I said, okay, I am making sense here. What am I doing? So it just became like that, and then I started, writing, and that's how it came about. I didn't have any what you call a motivation. A person will tell me that write something. It just came to me one day, and then I wrote a paragraph. That was about it.
Wow. Okay, that is fascinating. So which platform did you choose to start writing? What inspired you to just put those words and write that first chapter or story?
Definitely Facebook. Because my almost favorite writers, they actually came from Facebook writers. So having a page where I only have my family only on my Facebook, 2 or 3 friends. So having I'm telling you.
So your actual story page only had family and about 3 friends.
Exactly.
Wow. All right.
And then when I started writing, again, like, the audience of my writers always say that I can't believe people actually go through my page. They actually,
Yes.
there are so many people, 1,000 people there following me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for me, it was so very difficult to actually put my face on it, because I must say, no, we used to study with her.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Now you must face all these people that you used to either be shy, or they thought you looked snobbish and you were not friendly or antisocial. I can imagine. Yes. Mm. And I know a lot of writers hide.
I'm one of them. I think I started disclosing who I really am. I think it was last year.
Okay.
Bit by bit, and showing my true identity. And people started saying, "Oh no, we know you." People came like inboxing me. "No, I work with you." "Oh no, we went to school with you." And I was like, "Okay."
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
All right. But was there a writer before? Was there a writer that inspired your writing, or did you just feel like, let me tell a story?
I would say as an active reader, you always get inspired by the books that you read.
Okay.
It's not about saying that I want to write one day, but it's about saying that you put yourself in the writer's shoes, and you're going through emotion. And it was like, yeah, they're telling the stories, but I want to tell my story, you know.
Yes.
Ah, man, I know this is going to be a love story. I know the end might be like this, but what about my story? So there was something inside of me that said that I want to tell my story the way I want to tell it.
Yes.
And when I started writing, it's when I found a voice that, okay, I'm reading this book, I'm loving the writers, I'm following them, I'm the biggest fan. It doesn't actually hit where it wanted to hit. So that's how the love of writing came about for me.
Ah, but that was a great motivation. It was actually really a great motivation. What are the other things that just motivate you on a day-to-day basis?
I would say life itself, the obstacles that we go through.
Yes.
I would say most people, we kind of hide our true emotions through smiling, through partying, through having a social network around us, and we don't actually show the things that we go through. So by me writing, it was basically incorporating that into it, and saying that, you know, as much as I can say that I idolize the celebrity, and I can say that I'm a biggest fan of this musician, end of the day, that person still needs to go through their house and what's happening inside there. So I think for me, writing came about and saying that life, it's a challenge. As much as we can conquer it and say that we've made it, but to get to that, we had to go through a lot of obstacles. So I would say my motivation was basically life.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So you started the storytelling journey on Facebook. What made you then choose Wattpad and Visionary Writing? What's the difference in writing in those three platforms?
Okay. I love how people interact on Facebook. It's so open. It's like it's like having a big chat it's like having a group chat on WhatsApp or something. And but the only thing that got me to maybe stop writing my work there, it's when people started saying, you know, when people start taking your work and they actually say that you're taking your hard work, your hard efforts, and then they're posting it under their pages, and it's basically known as that it's them, and you find it taking all the credit now. So I started saying, okay, let me have a copyright, because I don't only see myself writing under a social platform. I do see my books as being a hard copy. I do see a book being incorporated into a drama series or a copy series. So I have a bigger vision for my book. So I said, okay, it was a start. I got my my followers, my readers, my viewers. Okay, let's take it from here to another level now. So
awesome.
That's how it came about, yes.
Okay, that is interesting. So does Visionary Writing and Wattpad give you the copyright element in writing?
I would say yes and no.
All right.
I'm fairly new in Visionary, in Wattpad, I'm sorry. So I'm not sure about it. But I've actually had some hiccups with Visionary Writings. Some of my books have been linked out. It was crazy because the person who actually took the books was an international, I'm not sure if it may be British currency. I'm not sure. But I was like, okay, why is he taking all the credits? And on top of it, to find it much interesting, I want to say that people who actually steal other people's work, I would actually prefer them if they include my name and say that Ayanda is the writer of this book. And that particular person just did that. It's just that it was in a platform whereby people can actually buy PDF of my books. And he had a biography of my work, as if he knows me. So when I went to him, I said, dude, when did you take my books? He told me that no, he had a link on Visionary Writing, and that's how he actually got the books. And I said, okay, that's actually a crime. I'm not getting anything out of this. And he said, okay. He said, no, I'm actually a fan. I said, I understand you're a fan. And that's how I reported him. And visual writing did actually respond to me and told me that no, they do have problems whereby some people can hack it, especially when they're doing the system upgrade.
Okay.
So it was not something that I could blame them on. So yeah, so sometimes you post something and then you find that your books have disappeared and they come back again. So I just became one of those complaining writers. Said, okay, I'm a complaining writer. Help me, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So how does the Wattpad one? So I think for other writers who either are not using the platform or not going into it because they don't know how it works. So I see Wattpad has paid stories. So have you explored that? How does it work?
I haven't explored that as yet. I think for me, maybe it's more about me posting my work and saying that I'm doing it for my readers. I haven't actually put into consideration that I'm supposed to be getting paid into it. That particular effort in terms of I should be getting paid towards it, being paid towards my writing, has not yet kicked in as yet, especially as a writer. I always say that I should publish in order for me to get paid. But in terms of getting few rands there and few coins there for having viewers, it might actually demotivate us as writers, because now you're going to be checking your balance. How much am I getting? How much am I getting?
Oh yeah.
It's not about us getting
Okay.
It's not about us getting paid. It's about the passion and the love of actually writing and saying that, okay, I'm doing this for my readers for now. And should I want to actually do something out of this, we should put it in a bigger platform. So this right here is just for them to have an easy access without saying that, oh, I'm unable to, I don't have data now. Oh, they stole your work. I can't view it anymore. You know, it's those kind of talk. So yeah, it just made it easier for me like that. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Now, talk to me about, because we now getting into the stories. When we get into the parts, the first bit was about introduction. Now we're getting to my favorite bit, because literally before going to the shop and conducting this interview, I was still reading the Mbovu story. And I'm right there when the Swatis are by the gate announcing and calling them. Oh my goodness. So what I want to know from you is that you write these online stories. Firstly, how many books do you have? Well, how many books have you written?
I've written 8 books, if I'm not mistaken. And and I have few drafts that it's a touch and go that I have. This is like your manuscripts that I have that I write and I pause and then I think and then I go back to it again. But yeah, so the books that are live, I think there are 7, if I'm not 8. Sorry, I suck with numbers because I work with numbers every day. That's why.
Well, it must be the numbers that pay. If they don't pay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So yeah, it's 8 books in total.
Okay. So people can find your 8 books all listed on Visionary Writing. And I think there is 3 that is active on Wattpad. And I'm not sure on Facebook. For me, I love the community in Facebook, but in terms of following the flow of the writer, I just get confused. Especially with the people that write and then take down the page, or write on the page and there's multiple stories, or on the same page, you find that once they're done with story number 1, then they remove all the chapters and then you're catching up. It just gets too confusing. So for me, these 2 platforms are easier to flow and remember where did I get lost. And I don't have the influence. You know, Facebook is so tempting. You get to see the comments of the readers before you even read the chapter or the insert. And already I'm frustrated because I'm going there with anger. Like, what happened? How could he do this? And then when you're reading the actual story, you find that people are just overreacting. But that is not the point. The point I'm getting to here is you are telling stories online. How much of it is influenced by real life?
I will say all of them.
Okay.
In different aspects of my life.
Yeah.
Of people that are close to me. So as I did mention prior, that's when the only thing that motivated me to write in the first place is life itself.
Okay.
Yes. So there's always going to be the thing whereabouts I need to put realistic factors or realistic pointers in each and every book that I write.
Okay.
So as much as some people can say, "Oh man, this is supernatural," you might never know. It might be real.
Yes, yes. Oh, don't get me started. Do not get me started. I'm getting excited. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. We'll put a little bit of a pause, and just get the background info out there, and then we're tackling characters in no time. In no time, we're talking characters. So let's I think go to the beginning. So was the breakthrough your very first story?
Yes, it was my very first story.
Okay.
Yes.
I just need to remember the titles. So let me get through visionary writing. Okay, I will check what the actual title on visionary writing says. But what I'm interested in is that this is a bunch of kids in school. And you say that your stories relate to real life. So now, is this Ayanda back in school, or is this Ayanda who is still close to school-going kids that tell such detail about high school hormones?
I think when I was in school, I was very much in a closet. I did not enjoy my high school life at all.
All right.
To your metric dance. I didn't go to any school dance. I don't like the 5 years of my high school life passed like a breeze. It's like, okay, what happened? Why people are saying that we miss high school?
Oh,
I don't even recall what was happening besides studying and coming back home. That's how my life has been throughout high school. So I use the fantasy of Uzo as me as an experience. This is how I should have found my high school life.
Oh yeah.
But with the perspective in terms of the getting pregnant, because in my era, I'm not sure about the the kids nowadays what happened. In my era, when kids got pregnant, that's what actually happened. It's either you hide it, you get thrown away from home, and that's how I actually put it out there that these things did happen in our society growing up. But it was not as if it was happening right now, where teenagers are walking proudly with their families and saying that, "Oh, I got pregnant." It was a shame. It was a taboo. That's how I actually and the other characters formed around it. So for me, she's the character I wanted to be like when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I just say, okay, this is my fantasy.
All right.
And that's how it actually started.
So is Zoe your inspiration in terms of character-wise and building the story?
I would say yes. She's the total opposite of me. And I always say that I never thought I would write about a character who's so outspoken, who's so free, who's out there and, living her life to the fullest. And I was like, okay, she has inspired me to, whenever I'm doing things at the current moment in my personal life, I say that, yeah, if Zoe can do it, so do I,
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're building. So here is you sitting down. You are starting the breakthrough. We are introduced to Zoe and Mpumi. So those become the besties and life grows around them. Right. And then there is coming back to school after Zoe's pregnancy and the miscarriage. And then now we are starting you start to bring in Trevor at the time, So there's Trevor now, there is a Cindy now, we're getting to know Uzweli a bit, and then all these other characters are building around these two. Were the two intentional to be your central characters? Or from the beginning, did you know I'm going to write a series that has 8 books now later, and everybody has to grow from this one story?
I would say that for me, it was basically about the journey Kazo throughout.
All right.
And I always say that in terms of me writing that book, it was basically giving myself a voice. Whatever I wanted to say, whatever I wanted to do, I put it into that particular character. And thereafter, I always say that we find friends in our path that we grew up with, that we are close to us. But when time goes by, we find that those friends were not actually meant to be our friends. So that's the part that everybody actually goes through. And so yeah, Ukumi was there just to show that in life you find a bestie. You actually with things you die hard and you go in places where I die, you're gonna die.
Yeah. And then life changes.
Yeah, and then when life goes exactly. So when the tides change, and then people show their true characters, that I was in your life just for for a second, I was in your life just for a minute, and it's done. So that's how it actually happened. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Now the beginning is Zoe is the breakthrough. We are learning bits and pieces of these characters, and you are telling Zoe's story, which includes a relationship with parents, being raised without a mother, having mommy issues, being raised by your aunt, having to now accept that at a young age, because of this pregnancy and this boy that I like who's older than me, because that's another topic that is covered. So it's the dealing with having someone who's older, having the father who's crazy, having the crazy brother who's loving at the same time, and then meeting all these lovely friends and all their different characters. That is the beginning of the story that you told. And then you started bringing in a bit, and it's funny that I use the same word, because everybody has a breakthrough. I think that's why you told us the story. If there's story, if there's whatever issues, at some point there has to be a breakthrough. Something needs to change, either for the good or the bad. It depends.
Yeah.
And in your build-up in the breakthrough as the story itself, you start bringing in bits and pieces of Trevor. And we have a taste of Trevor, which then takes me back to online versus real life. So Trevor is on a spiritual journey, and I will encompass it as a spiritual journey, even though there was a bit of what people like to term spirituality, because it's about praying and candles and water and whatever. And then there's the traditional healing process that then people don't normally associate it with spiritual, but I feel like everything is spiritual. At the end of the day, you're healing the spirit through different methods. So you are taking us through a spiritual journey, Saga Trevor, which for me, the lovely part is that it also includes not just the journey of learning how to cope as a vessel that is channeling and healing and whatever, but you started with the family, the roots, because that's what brings him closer to his calling. The fact that as an African child, you need to know who you are, your history, who in the family is the gifter of this big role that you're now going to play. So that is extremely beautiful. But what I want to understand is, for someone who was telling a story about Zoe and her issues and her supportive friends, when did you decide, I'm breaking away, even though Zoe is there throughout all the series, but when did you decide that the second book is going to focus on the spiritual journey saga, Trevor, and I'm going deep? Because that's when you had me. This is when I didn't sleep.
I think spiritual wise, on the first book it was incorporated, but it was not basically went into depth.
Yes.
About Zoe, she background as like the roots of her problem started off Wimvela.
Yes.
So that's when she started turning in her life throughout the book. So when I started with Trevor, I wanted to make sure that there's nothing important than knowing your roots. There's nothing important than having values of the family. But there's also nothing more important than understanding that in life, if you have your parents who are now living currently, breathing and being alive, that means, how can I put this? So those are your protectors while you stay alive, and while they still actually are around you and also living with you. But in cases of Trevor, it didn't happen to her that way. He was raised as an orphan. He didn't have the person that I'm saying that I'm gonna go Uma, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go Baba, because he didn't know his initial. So it basically started from there. That's the importance of you knowing your roots. This is how it can take you. So from being too broke to even higher a flat than I've been of him, to realizing if I go back to my roots and understanding the core values, then I can make it through in life. And coming by realizing that. So it wasn't basically a huge shift. It was just with it was psychologically, and that's why it was very fun.
I love that. I love that. And I think what amazes me is the fact that I feel like you have a notebook where you say, okay, so Zoe has gone through this check, she's resolved this part check, and then, okay, I'm going to bring a twist just to confuse the readers a bit. Okay, then they're going to catch up. Your books get me so emotional, and I'm all alone. I'm all alone, laughing or crying or just scolding somebody or 2 a.m. Imagine, and I sit like this with my phone, like, hey, what does this boy think? Man, that time I'm scrolling to the next chapter. So I'm still fascinated by Trevor, and I think the reason I am fascinated by Trevor is that I find that a lot of your theme is around healing. And you didn't just bring his spiritual journey all by itself. He had to heal huge chunks and parts of himself along the way. So there was a whole lot of cleansing that needed to happen with him, from understanding that he was adopted or found on the side of the road, to understanding that there is issues and a whole lot of blood that has been shed in the family that needs cleansing. Even the ancestors or the spiritual guides that he needs to take on or channel, they need cleansing. So everything was about heal thyself, heal your body, your mind, your soul, to get to the next, for that breakthrough to happen. Was this intentional from the beginning, and then you just started building it?
Most definitely. Yes. It goes back to my inspiration of writing, where it goes with life. You can go through a lot of changes in your life. You can go through a lot of obstacles in your life. If you are not, have that willingness to say that I'm letting go. I'm moving on. I'm saying that now, this time, whatever had happened, whatever is coming, whatever that I'm about to meet, or whatever that I'm working with, I'm just going to let it go. And the minute you start doing that to yourself, either emotionally, either by cleansing, either by praying, or any other source, you become lighter. Your journey becomes easier. So for me, it was saying that, you can go through a lot of things in your life, especially with Jenica Trevor. It means that, first of all, he was born.
It's fine.
Connection.
Okay. Yes, Tanda. I bought one, I think probably 2-3 years ago. I still have not learned how to play it because stupid me bought an electrical one. So I still need to find myself a bass bin that I can play off. Sister, you must connect it. So now I must get myself the bass bin, then okay, so back to the story. You intentionally wanted him to reconnect with his roots. We'll take it from there.
Right. I always say, Uti, of having any spirituality or any calling of per se, you need to actually be connected with imvelaphi yakho. The minute that you know where you're coming from, you will know where you're going. If there's no background yakho, you might never actually know exactly where you're going because you don't know umsuka wendabuko yakho. So for me, it was saying he can be a colored boy, mom is white, dad is black. But end of the day, so like inkaba yakho eyakabani. So that's what I wanted to put out there and saying to most people that you walk through parts in life and see the problems, the challenges are maningi, but because the minutes that this could have been resolved by actually knowing who I am. Right now, I'm fighting Izindo and I'm saying, going through anxiety, I'm suicidal and stuff like that. But it's just basically saying that you have not acknowledged us, who I am. So, for me, it was more of me connecting to it per se, especially to Nabantu Makai, who not even tell us about our fathers, who our fathers are. And we grew up in a world whereby we are evolving, but we don't know. It's like we are a guinea pig in a wheel. We keep spinning, and we don't know how can this be resolved. Mama Ngubani, your mama say that. Why would you want to know? I'm your mother. I raised you. But Mama Ngubani, like any whoever. I'm just a fetus who's roaming around, and it's always this kind of sningy. Abantwana or our generation, we go through the most not just because I'm going to say that it's more of a psychological thing. I'm going to say because
it is a spiritual warfare.
Yeah, it's a spiritual thing. Uthola ukuthi kunezibongo ezidingayo for umntwana ezenzela amasiko. And I've touched it a lot when I was writing my book, and kunezibongo whereby a particular thing is or a ritual is not done to them. So we need to know as abantu besifazane ukuthi I'm sleeping with a person, I've got a child with this person, regardless our relationship, the child needs to know his rules. Yeah. So for me, that was the lesson behind the story, that Umvelo wouldn't have conquered her spiritual side if he did not know who he is. So that's why Nekamalapa was Imvelo.
Yes. And we take names for granted, hey? We take names for granted, but they mean a lot. I think there's so much of information, and the love I have for your themes is uncanny. I always tell you. I love the fact that you connect so much. And at times I would read your character development and think, how does she keep it up? Because there's a couple of things that you do very well. One, it's developing your characters, whether they start good and end having some conflict or obstacles along the way and then finding breakthrough, or they start bad and then they discover themselves and then they get to a better space. But the development keeps growing, not just in one story. So some people don't know how to get that right, because I think other people write just for the sake of, I'm writing a story, there's an audience that's waiting for a chapter and I'm done. But if you're going to do a series, you need to understand the interlink also in the stories, because now when you were telling the breakthrough Velo's story, or Trevor's story as you put it on Visionary Writings, it started even before he became friends with Zoe, but we already knew he was friends with Zoe from the book one. So if you're a person that is not following the path or trying to figure out the healing that he went through and understanding that this is now his point of view, you're going to miss some of the big lessons that come with it. So that's one of the things. So you develop your characters across stories, and the link is always there. The golden thread goes through all of the stories. And then there's the parts where I think this character has it great, and then you just mess up our minds, and then you just put this whole big boulder in front of this person. I mean, for example, I thought Banzi had it all. He was just this aggro, hey, I'm Mr. Private what, and then he went through the most with relationships, and it linked back to Mbumi, who was a Mamfundisi at some point, and then now Mbumi is a whore, and hey, your intersections, girl, your intersections is the second thing that just blows my mind. You know what? And I think I had this conversation with you. So when I was reading about, I think one of the intersections that I loved the most was Siswati's story. Because it came 4 books later, but Siswati was this blessee that was just irresponsible and then messed up Portia's relationship. And then there's the praying Gonzo, who you think has it all. You know, between Gonzo and Lubanzi Shem, you really pulled the rug under my feet. Like, I thought they were smooth sailing. They had this life thing figured out, and you messed up their lives. Well, you didn't mess up their lives. You told the story of how life can get messed up. But when we are readers, we see it as the writer is messing up my character. My character has it happening. Everything is going well. I want him to be my daddy. And ajibu daddy, escalated. And you're like, divorce. Now I'm falling for this one. The way you hurt me with Menzi as well. Oh my gosh. I'm now on Mbomvu Dynasty. You keep breaking Menzi's heart. What is wrong with you, Mara Ayanda? Why?
I think Umenzi.
Look at you laughing. Remember, I want you to remember that you started this by telling a psychological story, Saga Zoe, and then you were telling the spiritual story, Saga Trevor. Now you are breaking our hearts with relationships that fail.
Breaking his heart. I think his heart was his heart was broken from the word go. It's also again goes to that means if you want to song about and you think would say behind that smile, behind that flashy car, those flashy clothes, and his there is life. There's just a show boy who needs a hug. And like everything that he's just so broken apart. He's just currently in a facade whereby he's taking everything that he is. Find Cindy, the love of my life. But at the end of the day, he's not different than the people who raised me. Why am I having such challenges in my life with the people that I love?
Yes.
So had to come to a breaking point at some point. My pieces, and then a person would have to come back and say, "No, I see you, and I'm holding you." Yeah.
I'm now interested in the process that you follow, because then don't forget that in the second book you introduce Nomcebo, right? And it was like I met this girl at the hospital. I prayed for her. I helped her. The voices were gone. Done. And then I'm busy following most of the series of the friends. And then I get to Desire. Is it Desire, Lust and Love or something?
Yes.
So I get there and now I'm waiting for the next. Like, it needs to get to the next because these girls are now redeeming themselves. Now I want to know the story where Slindile is having it good and Swati is having it good. I'm thinking the next story is, it's going to progress from there. And then I just see this augury. I'm thinking, should I skip this one and jump straight to Mbovu? Because at least I know Mbovu is related to the kids.
Yeah.
Baga, Baga, what's kind of Mbovu is Tagazelo Saba? Yes. No, the Umguni unakunja. Trevor.
Oh my God,
Ngubani, yes. So I know what the Mbovu dynasty is about the Ngubanis, and the Ngubanis really have drama because now, and you were mentioning the fact that Umenzi had issues from childhood, but it took him 12 years to realize that actually I'm also in love with a person who's got issues for days, and no matter how much I love her or no matter how much she loves me, if we both don't heal individually, it's an issue. This is why I love your stories, because there's such in-depth in terms of healing and the core things that need healing. But then you bring in the augury, and I read the first chapter and I see this Zikubu person and this Nomcebo person. I'm thinking, the story can be related. Okay, let me give it another chapter maybe before I skip it. How next chapter brings in Portia, I'm thinking, okay, maybe it will give me some light on Portia's life in Cape Town, Hey, and then you start bringing everybody back in, like, this girl is just out there to frustrate me, right? Like I don't need enough healing in my life. I must now heal from characters. So the process that you go through when you're putting the story down, I really want to just spend a day in your head. Take me through this process of you deciding who fits in where.
Hey, Lord, I wish I had that particular answer. We are all gifted in different ways.
Yes.
For me, the characters grew from it breakthrough, and I already knew what particular characters I'm going to utilize throughout my books.
Okay.
I'm really trying to cut down the series because the series has gone too far. But I think I was like, what are loopholes? But I have got, I've actually put a list. Okay, my characters, they have to have their own books. And then when I get to the new book, and I'm writing, a new character develops, and another one.
Yo!
We're going to stop the series at 30.
Hey, listen, now we're going to 50. We are going to get to 50. It's still 8. Just keep typing, girl. Keep typing. All those people need to be healed. Right now, on the Mbovu dynasty, you just highlighted for me that my lovely Ngonzo, my very favorite guy, the beautiful pastor, has problems, marital problems. Yes, says, you better make sure he gets healing. And I'll even find him a psychiatrist or something.
He just needs to pray.
No.
He's a pastor after all. He just needs to pray. It's all right.
But the process of actually writing these stories and giving us a glimpse of the issues people face, how to heal them, the different avenues to use to heal. I think one of the things that I love a lot is that you give, even your gifted people, you give them such separate and different gifts to just show that it doesn't matter that we are 10 people that are gifted. All 10 of us are needed sometimes to solve a bigger problem. It doesn't mean that if you can dream, you'll be the one who will know which herb to use. And it doesn't mean that if you see herbs, you know exactly what are the symptoms that are going to come up. Only when your part is supposed to be played does then your character or your strength shine through. So that is the love I have for your stories. I keep looking for the next lesson. And the details, girl, the details. You can't tell me all of that was research. No. You took me back to my days of initiation. I remembered when I had to wake up, why I had to do this prayer, why Ngigobongo. The whole process. How do you have so much info?
I went through the process as well.
Okay.
So I've been getting a lot of questions, so it's finally out.
Okay. At least your readers will know now. Yes.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions regarding this. And if you're not a million person who has said this, said, no ways. You've gone through this. You just need to bring us. Yeah, so so it's not about me not going through it as well alone.
Yes.
My entire family, yeah. So we all went through to different oh my God, spiritual callings. My sister, just out of a blue, we are prophets. Okay. My mom has knew that when she wakes up and tells a dream, it will happen within an hour. All right. My who has made me a grandma, she's the one that they will tell you in Abazako. Okay. And the funny part about my life is that I'm the only person who's but all these people are looking at me.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh at you. This is serious stuff.
Yes. But the way as a spiritual enhancing a corner, it actually even scares me. Yes. So when I wrote the book, initially the book was supposed to be about my mom, because my mom is people she was and coming from a background of having a real blood. I'm saying Khumalo, yeah, of course, with the real blood. It means so it means that I had to put that out there. That you may see me walking around, especially with the Trevor. You may see me walking around. You may think I'm just a normal person, yes. But the thing is, it doesn't sound like me. Yeah. So I wanted to put out there saying people who have spiritual calling. They're not just only Abanda Bahamba Mkatweni. Yes. And the ones that maybe you see on TV who are basically characterizing people who are sitting next to you at Texini is Lady Lugeli. Yes. She might have a calling. Not about if you have a spirituality. Or however a certain calling on and prophecy, you need to dress. Yes. It's just something that is inside of you that actually gets connected with. If you have a person again, and then so with the Trevor, I just wanted to put it out there for most people who would say, I went through initiation, and people look at me and say that, how come? I said, yeah, I did. So but dressing up and I'm going to work, and then you think yes, but you do not know having a calling doesn't necessarily mean that's what I tried to emphasize. The woman loved herself. The woman was like that. The woman and then Trevor learned from there. No, I can have this calling, but I can also still be me and still be like So that's what I wanted to incorporate, because Minukobela was like that. Yes. I know it's okay. Yes. So I think it's more about self-love, first of all. Yes. And it's also about saying I'm in control of my life and my calling. Never allow control it to an extent to you're losing yourself. But in mind, you are yourself, but at the end of the day, they need you more than you need them. So whatever that, that's something that you need. There's always something that communicates with listen, Ayanda, let Ayanda shine, and then I'll do your things. I'm tired of miserable. Then I'm end up miserable because anything looking at Satan would be caught. So that's where the shift of finding about they're healing, but they're not healing because they are not happy with what they're going for their spirituality inside of them. So yeah, it's from the first time. Yes.
But also just understanding, and it goes back to history. Sometimes people think when you just say, I want to understand my roots, it means I want to only understand my physical flesh family tree. But you also need to understand the history and the reason behind some of these callings, and why are they different, and why do I have this? Because everything that you get is probably an input or a tool or a resource for you to serve in some way. So once people and healers start realizing that I'm a servant, and now before I can serve others, I must know what it means to serve. I must know what it means to be served. and go through that journey and note that the minute there is a lack in you, the minute you have dark thoughts, the minute you have worries, because one of the things is that don't even get near an altar, umsamo, whatever you call it, whether uyendumbeni or nomsame koneni or ganjani, because Trevor was very powerful, but umsamo wakhe bowsewadrobheni. Omunye umuntu ofundiswe indlela enye ephehlweni uzothi you can have umsamo ewardrobing, but I'm talking to my people and they're saying that don't display our things. We don't want anyone who walks past to get a hint of where we've stored our energy, because that's one of the things that you must understand about even your tools. Ubuhlalu means nothing. Ubuhlalu is just a reminder for you psychologically. I'm serving this purpose, I'm doing this right now, it's a journey, and ubuhlalu is meant to futhi kwesinye isikhathi budlule. It doesn't mean now I must have twinklings every day, everywhere, because people then start, and it's similar to whether you are going through the traditional route of Ubus Angoma or Rusesontwen. When they talk about idolizing other gods and material stuff, some of our traditional healers end up idolizing Amabai and Uhlalu without the intention internally saying, I now serve in this manner. I have these skills, or I have learned these methods to help you or to help myself. So I like the fact that in your characters you bring that out. Which when you are doing this, it's over the top. So let me go talk to Umbali, who can prophesize or pray for you. No, let's go to Umbelo because he can do this for you. And actually, as you're saying that your characters keep developing, can I tell you that I actually feel robbed, because I still want to see or read about Sibahle's gift. She went through hell to get that gift and remember it. And then you can't just let her lie around and be beaten by hellhounds and then, that's it. She's just a great friend and a great wife. No. Remember, make a note somewhere. Make a note somewhere. I want that journey. Yabo Mamlambo. I want it. You better tell that journey, Yabo Mamlambo. You don't have to tell us I'm a secret Yabo Mamlambo, but I want the fan fiction part, as you've done with the White Lions. There's something, I have my own issues with Yabo Mamlambo that I need to resolve via your writing. Because when I'm with them in my dreams, we fight and they like instilling fear. So I want to see them in a different light. So I think your calling is to make sure you write about them.
I know it.
Make them sound nice.
I think I will do that. And to be frank with you, I was like, maybe a grand Umaki one we named her after the great tree Esekaya Kabulawa in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So it's one of the idolized tree Umkiwane, named out of that. And Uhambana. So Omamlam. So sometimes she will wake up at night, like on your weirdest or 2 hours, which hour? Yes. And she will look at my bedroom and I'd say, you hear that? I had a musty waves. It's in the sea waves. Dude, we're far from 45 minutes from the sea. So, but did you hear that? It's been what? Something is hissing in my window. When what are you trying to tell me? She has that connectivity. She will be like, we would be watching TV and I just saw myself getting underwater and I did the things and I came back. I said, but you were with me, yes? Yeah, I was with you. The cornice tumbo because but I'm back.
Yes.
And I'm always saying, one day I will be with her and because that's what normally happens.
Yes.
True. Get to that. The secret will be revealed.
True, it will happen, and it does happen. I think one of my friends, my good friends, and it's nice that you also cover it from different angles, not just Abandaba Mnyama, because my friend is actually Chinese and she'll be a guest later and she'll explain it herself. Ghana, what do they call it in their space? Because she trained as a shaman, and then she does the. I don't know why the word is now escaping my mind, but she'll be sleeping and then she travels. So she does astral traveling. So it is so fascinating, so fascinating, because at times it just comes and then at times she has to be intentional about it. Because she's one of those that can do healing on. So if Ayanda is sitting here, but the problem is with the inner child, sometimes our brains close us off so much. Because I think one of the things that people don't notice is that our brain is actually just there for storage. We think that because we're thinking, it's new info, and you have these ideas, and you're recalling things that are stored in your brain. And these are things that are stored by experience, trauma, what you hear. You keep all this info, and then the minute a picture comes, or a visual comes, or a situation, then your brain thinks, okay, A plus B is C. Now this is now this is the signal I'm sending out to the body to say, okay, now we fight. Okay, now we fighting. So there's a lot of when we talk roots that we need to get back into if we're really serious about healing. And that's why I talk about the new age of healing, because abanye abantu bazi ukuthi what a doctor can solve, meanwhile you need a psychologist. Omunye umuntu, I know where my issues are, but I have no idea what to do. Okay, maybe you need a therapist, a consultation, or a life coach to help you through your thought process. Because some things that I need to actively do, some things I need to clear my mind and change my mindset. As in I need someone else to clear my spirit or help me cleanse. But if we don't start checking the avenues and the causes of these different disease to the soul, we don't know how to fix ourselves, and there's so many treasures in your stories. I think there's parents that can learn about child-parent relationships in the things you bring about with your characters. There's people that are going through spiritual calling journeys that can read up. It might not be that their calling is related to any of the characters, be it Abonomtebo, Ngonzo. But there's variety already to make you comfortable with the fact that I'm not abnormal, I'm not weird. I may be an alien, or I may be Umamlambo in a flesh, but I'm special for a reason.
Exactly,
So I really, really hope that in your stories, you get to explore more and get people to really, really think about, because what makes up our values as well is our belief system. And I think some of our low self-esteem and issues we have is because we question what is supposed to be our value, but we don't replace it with something new, with new info, with finding out where it started, where we're heading. So people lack the vision to get back to, if you are poking at my values, I now just fight with you, or I fight with myself.
Of course, yes. So, it's so true. It's so true. I'm saying that it's so true, because I've heard one of the readers. Apparently, his son read the book Trevor the Calling, and then gave the dad and said, "That read this book, Baba, and then tell me about it." And the old guy was not actually into social media or anything like that. Baba, and he was reading this book, and it's when he came to me and inboxed me, he said, "Ntanami, what's your number?"
Yes.
And I gave him my number, and within a split of a second, whatever you wrote in that book, I feel like you're spoken to my son.
Now I need to come get you.
Like, I'm saying, no, they said that I'm in Free States, and my son is going through the very same thing. As a parent, what should I do?
Yes.
You will know the road to take. You will not ask me.
Yeah.
It goes back to when, right now, because your son has advised you to read the book, when you sit down with him, what do you actually talk about, and what is your relationship with him? Said, he's my son. It's he's your son.
He's an overgrown sperm, yes,
and I'm telling you, the guy had to go through a psychologist just to figure out what is like ubaba to ingane yomfana.
Yes.
What am I as a father in my son's life? Right before Angbonge, I think it happened when it was last year, November. And I'm with him right now.
Okay.
And thank you. You made me realize I was just ubaba in his life. I did not have any particular relationship with him. I didn't even know this calling thing. I just told him, we have money, we're gonna do it.
Yes.
At the end of the day, he was by his side. Baba, I need you. But it was basically him telling him indirectly, I cannot do this on my own. So I was like, okay, we're going somewhere.
Yes, you are. You are a messenger. You need to keep these stories coming. You really need to keep these stories coming, because that whole, sometimes you think support is just numbers of likes and comments on your story, but there's really actions. There's really the participation or the support of your story is based on people believing in the story that you have to tell. And do you have other people that are going through a similar journey like you are? And I mean a similar journey because njengomuntu odla igobongo ekhaya, yes, you all spiritual, but you alone in that gobongo process unless you get support in that space. But do you have friends or people that you've met in that journey that are there to help you along the way? Because sometimes we need to consult, you know.
Yeah. I'll say in my family is okay. I'm gonna go back to saying that to mention this. I'm a close person. I'm very close up. I don't actually have much friends. It can be one or two, but I always say we are friends, but we are not entwined in terms of
yes.
Like how we view life itself. Kunezinto ezihlanganisa yonke into kuthiwa and nobody will be better than umzali wakho. If you have umzali wakho, then you don't even know yourself at all.
Yeah.
So my mom taught me a lot of things about my spirituality, taught me a lot of things about the changes that I was going through. You know, she saw me when I tick, she saw me when I did to people, she saw me when I was losing weight, she saw me when I was having a sort of like a mental breakdown. And bekwazi ukukhuluma nabantu bakubo and abatshela ukuthi umntwana lo ningamhlaseli. So I think it's all about for me, my mom, the person that I was saying was in my space, she was in my corner. She was basically that person that I would wake up at night in my house and I would call her and say that I had a dream like this and like this, and it's a control interpreted to say no one knows. You need to do this. So it's my mom that I would say they're still trying now to figure out spiritually who can I rely on. So I'm trying to educate my sister. My sister, she's one of those people about saying
yes. This journey is scary. It is scary. Sure.
She will prophet something right now and then we trans ashes into but end of the day it's but you have it. Yeah, you have to
I recall and I'm sorry to cut you. I recall like when I was still very fresh, and that's one of the greatest thing about initiation. I think it's almost like being a doctor. Because if you find someone who's good enough, they're going to open you up to healing as people get opened up to medicine. And then you find your specialty and then you start learning and, zoning in on your specialty. But you because your spirit is open, then you can see things, you can hear things, and then you'll start seeing which one do I hear more? Do I visualize? Do I dream a lot? But you'll go through the whole process. So then one of the things is like, so Umvelo, for example, would see abantu bakubo in the room. So it would be funny when and I used to be a facilitator at work. So it will be funny because as I was training, then I would then go to work and train people. And you are in the classroom in the middle of a lesson, and then there's this old person standing there and they start talking because now they want attention.
Yes.
and now you try and ignore them. Sure, they're going to make your day miserable. They will make your day miserable until, and I just started learning that it's either I learn to put them in their place and they must wait their turn, or now I must now give the class a break so that I can now deal with this person. Because you see this thing talking on this person and they're just not focused. And funny, because then you're going to pick up the people that hear the voices or the people that need to pass out so that they can be, their guide can be heard. So then you have Ayanda that you're thinking, am I boring this person? Ayanda during the lesson. And then you see this granny talking on the side, you think, I'm done. Let's have some settings.
It happens. And I always say, whoever went through to initiation and everything went out so smoothly with their lives, I would say, I share my bow down, your ancestors and your people are really ladies and gentlemen. Because you find those people when they say, leave this place now, and you ignore them. No, but I'm not now. And then they will keep on saying, leave this place now. I know. And then I remember one day I was in town with a couple of friends, and then I was like, you know what's in it? You will be drinking wine after wine and you don't get drunk. You drink wine and you start thinking, okay, let me go with vodka, and you start drinking vodka, and then when you turn up and this person will be standing there, go home now.
Yes.
It's like I'm not going anywhere. I'm still with my friends. I need to have friends in my life. I need to have a social like, guys, you can't do this to me. And then the person will say, go home now. I remember I would say, I don't even know what happened, but I remember going to keep and then I shang when you from town to my house. And I'm nothing I shang. And and the first thing I answer, and then I want to do many, a lala, now we send us a pash.
Now, can you apologize for being stubborn?
Yes, imagine. Emma was a pasha, who give me Ayanda say, I just walk from town to from town to one house. How can you say I'm keeping in my fit hands? That's I so pull up on some.
Yes.
And then I did not even feel a pain with it. I walk a mile like almost 2 hours in the freeway coming home.
You know?
So I was,
it is fascinating stories. And there's so many lessons on this journey. There is, sure. We can talk about it the whole day, but what are some of your outstanding life lessons through the journey and through your writing?
It's healing. It's, for me, I would say, it's to heal. I always say when I write, that's where I find my voice. First of all, that's where I find my voice.
Yes.
When I write, I relate with more character. I relate with the challenges, with aspects that they're going through. And when it's time to heal, when I'm writing the chapter, when I'm going through a healing process, I'm also saying that I'm healing as well. It's not about just about writing. So that's why I always say that I do not fumble in terms of saying that I'm posting for the sake of posting. I can stay 3 days, 4 days without posting. But when I post, it's something that needs to be solid, because for me, my creativity, I wouldn't say I was inspired by drawing. So I think it was gifted from me. For me, I'm gonna write about things that will heal people. When you read my book, I don't need you to say, oh, it's so sweet. You can say that.
Oh, he's so cute.
No, I want this love. No, that is not easy.
Yay! Can I tell you right now, Vus, I want to strangle Vus. How? How does not okay, please continue, because you bring my issues.
So my expectation in life is that we do get where we want to go.
Yes.
But there are obstacles that we need to go through. And I sometimes tell myself, my life reach where I wanted to reach.
Yes.
And then I will go through the depression phase in my life where I feel like my ancestors are not doing anything for me. There's 1 or 2 or 3. Nobody's listening to me. God is not even listening to me.
Yes.
I go through that almost every month.
Yeah.
And then when I start but when I start writing, I find that inner peace, fine. Omenza said right. She went through miscarriages. I fall. I'm just crying, and I haven't reached where I want to go. Come on, I can. It's not my
you can.
Yeah. So that's how I keep balance in my life. I keep that psychological balance in my life, whereby I'm not gonna stress with that. Or a friend of mine now just got married, got kids, and now she's gonna limber. My time coming. It's not my time. My time is basically retaining is big. So by writing, I become in that world where I say that life is a challenge, and then when you get to it, it will happen, and you will not even think of saying, how did I get here? You would forget what saying is to because when it happens, it will happen so simultaneously that you will like, wow, wow.
I know, right?
So yeah, for me.
No, the lessons are great. The lessons are great. There's always something to learn. I think, well, with my so the path I chose, because I did the facilitation, I know I can teach, and I know I can coach, because I've gone, so professionally I've learned how to train or facilitate so people can change their thinking, and then guide them through those changes, and then help them assess if, am I doing some change in my life? Not according to me. You set your own goals and then you do it. So I've learned to do life coaching in that sense, that it doesn't just mean it's the goals at work. It's similar to your goals in life. When you say you want a relationship, but you're going in there with baggage and expectations and putting people on this platform, and then you get stuck with why is it not working? Meanwhile, your eyes Cindy. And you've never been secured. You've never trusted anybody with your life. You've always felt entitled to stuff that you actually don't believe exist. and you think it's going to work. There's so much of healing that needs to happen. And the life lesson is that even when you have the information, and I picked it up with, so I did a stint in studying psychology. So I did BA communications. I majored in communications and psychology. The minute you start reading about people and personality behavior and all that, you overanalyze yourself. I tell you, everything you read up is like, okay, then they go through this, they have this childhood trauma, then it ends with this behavior, they have these fears, and now you start questioning every emotion. So you're not sure if, am I anxious, or am I suffering from anxiety, or am I anxious because I'm thinking about this emotion or this feeling is supposed to make me anxious? So I think one of the things I want to highlight to healers is that there'll be times where you overanalyze yourself. There'll be times where you even overanalyze situations, but you kind of have to pick up if, am I anxious because it's something that's within me? So there's stuff that you're going to pick up emotionally, but you got to learn to listen to your body. So it took me a while to realize that. So I'm the worst riser ever. I'm not a morning person, and I would always just either make it to work or always be late. But by the time I leave, I already know I'm going to be late. And as I'm driving, I'm holding the anxiety of this traffic. There's someone already at the office who's looking at my desk and thinking she's not here. So I carry this anxiety at the lower spine. And by the time I get to the office, I'm tired and my back is in pain. And I'm thinking, did I sleep uncomfortably? What happened? Hey, I'm aging. But no, I've been carrying baggage since I got in the car. So it's those little things that we need to start being aware of. And the people that will suddenly have a headache and you're overthinking, you're not even relaxing your jaws, you live with your jaws clenched all the time, and then you wonder why you have a headache. Your muscles are tired. You always have your teeth. It's those little things that people need to start taking notice of. Immediately when there's an emotion, you need to listen to the body and say, where am I carrying it? Is it a gut feel thing? Is it that I'm holding pain? Is it that I'm holding worry? And then start dealing with it. And also ask yourself, is it something that is mine, or am I channeling somebody else? Because that also happens. I used to have a phase where the minute I start feeling something, then I'll sit and think, who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? That moment, I free myself like, hey, dude, can you stop with... There was a time when my cousins went away from me. Because they knew the minute they started being anxious, I'm on that phone, like, can you stop it? Either you're going to so you can move away from it, or stop adding me into your worries, because I pick it up and I know what you're thinking. And they hate it because I would tell them, you woke up at 2. This is what you thought.
Oh Lord.
It's such an interesting journey, and it is hurtful when you have your own issues and you're not admitting or acknowledging them. Shame, you will spin like a top in the same place.
Chasing pavements.
Yay! Yeah, but I knew this conversation was going to be great. It was meant to expose people to different issues and different means of healing. So what are you still doing to also improve or help learn something new?
Okay, I'm an active reader, and the only thing that has kept me up for most days it's TV per se, but Discovery Channel, whereby they will talk about your cold cases, whereby they were in. It's basically me understanding not just Ayanda's mind, but understanding other people's mind and how do they work.
Yes.
So I do a lot of research in terms of understanding the life that is out there, because when I'm too close in, so I don't know what's happening there. I might think what I'm assuming, so I need to understand what is really happening out there. So for me to do that, basically, I read a lot. If I'm not reading a lot, and if I find my anxieties are kicking in now, I'm taking this thing that I'm reading there and I'm putting it in me. I watch a lot of comedy, just basically, just to keep, yeah. So I'm trying to find more about what is this word? Supernatural beings.
Okay.
Who are they? Because I always say, I write and people love my books, and people like they go crazy and gaga. So am I when I go back and listen. But now I think I find the part that I'm supposed to be taking is to write more about supernatural beings. Who are they? Where do they come from? Why are they here? Yes. So I'm trying to learn more, because I can say I know things, but it might mean I don't know them.
Of
so
course.
I need to go and find out more, because many loopholes whereabouts I need to write. There's still an Alex story that I need to write. There's still most probably
I don't know why you brought that topic.
Story that I need to write.
I don't know why you brought that topic of Alex.
So when I'm expecting money, Austin is going through the most. I don't even know what's anyway I'm supposed to start. There are a lot of things that as a writer that you need to evolve. It's not about saying people are laughing unpredictable. So you don't say that we know that it's like that. I like to keep you on your toes, because that's how I love reading my books as well. I love being on my toes. I like even my series. When I watch my series, I want to be like, what's happening next? So I don't want something that's too detailed, and then man, yeah, I know what's gonna happen. So no. So that's how I write, and that's how I keep afloat. And for me to actually to keep my followers and my readers at all times with me at my corner, or die, I need to keep up that anticipation. I already started with it. I might as well proceed with it, and I cannot do it without doing any research or any other checking where to from here. What is this? What is it meant? I cannot do the false information, because it's collecting is based on false information.
Yay!
So
Yay! Don't start. I mean, I don't have a child today because my mother told me. So she used to work at Gynae at Baragwanath. And there was this girl, she discovered she was pregnant, she was freaking out, and she kept hiding the belly, and when it could not be hidden anymore, she tried to commit suicide, but she threw herself on the railway, on the track. And unfortunately for her, she did not die. The train just ravaged her feet or her legs, and she still had her legs from the knees up. So now can you imagine, you are this person that is now disabled, and the baby still there, it survived, and she gave birth. So instead of taking me through the process properly to say there is sex, there is boys, you're going to have feelings and hormones, you're going to be attracted to boys, and if this happens, understand you're going to fall pregnant. And when you are pregnant, there's consequences. Some of the girls then make decisions that ended up like this patient that came through, because now she's going for physio. And then all I remembered was, stay away from boys, you're going to fall pregnant, you're going to be crushed by a train, and you will stay and remain pregnant. I made sure, at my old age of almost 41, I made sure I stayed away from boys, because I do not want the train to smash my legs.
It goes through that saying, because I'm mostly like you. It goes through that saying that my mom used to say, I know life. You know life. How will it crash me? She's giving me an alternative. You know what? Do I want to see? I don't want to see. So at the stage that I'm in, I don't ever tell. I don't have a man in my life, because I don't want to see what she's doing herself. Like, I'm scared. Give me that life lesson.
We need to do better with the next generations, hey? I know a lot of our belief system, or our limiting beliefs, cripple our lives. We think we are keeping safe, but we're just making either life-threatening decisions, or we don't live at all, because you are so scared of a whole lot of stuff. And some people don't even go into healing or for initiation because they're scared. Someone tells you, You're going to be a slave. You're going to drink blood. You know, so we need to really, really change the way we teach life lessons.
Yes.
We really do.
Of course.
So what is next for Ayanda?
Oh, okay. What's next for Ayanda? Oh Lord. Okay, I'm still gonna write. When writing is just me. It's who I am, and I don't think I'm ever gonna survive without writing. And you took much of my time for writing, Jan. But anyway,
we're gonna give them this video. They'll understand. This video is a whole chapter and a history and a roots and a how. Please.
So I'm actually going to start going through Uma Media House. I really need to start publishing my books. They've been in demand for so long now. And in this thing, COVID, you don't know where to go. If you go there, they're going to tell you, say, COVID regulations, but that's how you go right, and so forth. So now, since the country is free at last,
free? Okay, no, that's another hour's topic, so let's not get into it. Yes.
You're free from COVID, free from restrictions.
Aye, they let you go for elections, nothing else. After elections, you will see flames.
So and again, I need to start. I need to write a book about my mom, which has been like long overdue because she has been asking me. I talk about this woman in my life a lot because for me she has been an inspiration. I think I was saying my mom was an artist. She was a singer, a script writer, a director. Oh my God, an activist. She's Khumalo. She's all out. I was growing up, she always told me, would say, art is in your blood, and art is in your blood. I'm telling you, I'm your mother, I know. And that's why I'm saying, even my writing came as an epiphany without me even knowing. And it after that, it just, it went sky high, and I was in shock as well. I was like, am I doing this? So that's why sometimes after I finish the entire book and I posted it, I go back and read it. And even I, as a writer, I'm looking at it and saying, I like this.
Yes.
I like this. Was it me?
I stopped doing that. So what happened is I would read, so you get notifications that someone commented. And then you read the comment and you think, what are they talking about? Now you are forced to read the chapter, and then you read it and you think, hey, what was this person saying?
Yes, that's one of the things that happens a lot to me. So from here, it's basically me moving to publishing, putting my hard copy out there, and also I think we would say in a career-wise, it's high time to stop doing something that I'm saying would say I'm doing it for money. I need to start doing something that I love. So I love writing. I love interacting with people, and it's something that I found out now, since I'm currently in this field, that I do love interacting with people. It's just that I've been so caught up in my own space. I'm socially, but when I start writing and interacting with people, I just thought saying this is a great space for me. It makes me so happy to speak to people, and it makes me so happy to read their work and find this I'm interested in the and stuff. So that's me. And because my mom was currently into and I'm script writing, I'm thinking with saying, what if I take my books and make it a mini drama just to be out there? Because I cannot say saying I'm keeping this thing all to myself and I'm saying I'm sensitive with my kids, and what people say, it's something that needs to be out there. It's something that needs people to see. So that's what I want to do, and I just want to follow in her path. Let me just put it like that: follow in her path and make her proud.
Please, she needs to see it. And it would be interesting if you did between the Trevor story and Sibashe's. And I think my interest is in the supernatural beings. How are you going to pull that off, girl? Woo, I want to see that big lion. I must see it. Where are you going to find it? How are you going to create it? That is someone else's worry. I want to see it, man. Okay. So where do people find you?
And I'm just gonna.
So where do people find you? Should they go to Wattpad? Should they go to Facebook? now that they're interested in these stories?
I'm creating a culture through my books. I'm creating a movement through my books. And we already started a platform in Facebook whereby we're going to say, Stories by Ayanda K. That's my Facebook group. So I've got my administrators there who are doing absolutely well in terms of keeping everybody posted on what's happening. And I also pitch it here and there. And ask people on the books that we're currently working on and where we go. Find me first. So it's Stories by Ayanda K. It's also on WhatsApp, Stories by Ayanda K. And also you are going to find all my contact details under the group. So my profile pic has everything in terms of my email, my cell phone number, my Instagram page, and so forth. And then we can take it from there.
Awesome. Wow. I knew this was going to be a long one. I might just have to cut it into part 1 and part 2. And we didn't even cover enough. Like, listen, I think I need to call you separately and then we can dissect all these characters. You cannot do this to me. I'm sure all your readers feel like me. I think I need a group kumbaya with all of them and then it is attack the writer.
I would love that. I would love that a lot. I'm ready to answer any questions right now.
You need to answer a lot. Like, I'm hurting for Nwabisa right now. But then I forgot that the other day I was hurting for Slee. And then just before I was hurting for Slee, like, do you understand how much you hurt me when you threatened to kill Austin? Like, when the baby wakes up, you're going to die. How? Austin, the superhero. You understand, Guti? Clark Kent. Is it Clark Kent to Superman? When he's wearing glasses before he turns into Superman, but when he's the journalist, when I look at that character, I imagine Austin. So now you're telling me this big, indestructible person is just being chowed by a snake. Ayanda. And no one can help. Nobody can help him. Of all the gifted friends, I think that is one of the lessons that I loved, because in reality it happens. You can know people that do stuff, but they're not meant to heal you. Especially for an Austin who sits there with a snake for days and keeps saying, I've got flu. Ooh, he frustrated me now. He himself. Oh my God. I have so much catching up to do. I'm on chapter 150 something on Bomvu, so I must keep it going. So I can start on turning tables. I don't like seeing comments about turning tables and I'm far from it. But I love your stories. They reminded me of my healing path and journey. They reminded me of the training, the lessons, the hardships, the conflict. I even spoke to one of my close friends. So I started the journey before her. So when she had to go in, then she came to me for advice, like, what must I do? Can't you be my gobel? I'm like, the problem you have is that you think when I'm your gobel, I'm going to be your friend. Then I won't be doing it right. And besides, you're not sent to me because Mina, I don't do gobeling stuff. I do coaching. I'll help you, guide you through the journey, but I don't do it in a gobeling way. There'll be times when you will find your people in me that are going to tell you things that are going to make you hate me. Or you're going to need an answer that my grandmother has to answer. So you hear a different voice. And I have this other male friend as well that says, sometimes when I talk to you, I feel like I spoke to 3 different people. I'm like, it depends on what you want to know. You're not always talking to the jolly me. When you find the laughing jolly me, be happy. when the voices go deep and serious, you're in trouble. But I love it. I love it. I want you to keep going. It's been a great journey for me to even just discover your talent and get so immersed in all of these characters and the stories and the themes that you are sharing with people. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me the time to come on live, for us to see your face. I think our next session, I don't know what we will be talking about. Maybe it will be when you've finally written those scripts or you've finally written a book about your mother. And I hope you would have learned how to play the guitar. Then we can have a jamming session as we do the interview. So we both have tasks, right, to learn how to play our guitars.
Yes.
Okay. Mine is a bass guitar, so I need to find something groovy to learn to play. Please send your readers. They need to see the side of you.
Most definitely will do that. And
yes.
Thank you very much for having me in your space. It was an amazing experience, and I hope to do it more often. I kind of love this interaction. I love it a lot. And thank you.
Okay. It was my pleasure. It really was my pleasure to have you. I couldn't wait. I'm glad we have done it, and I'm hoping we have more to talk about. It could even be interactive, sessions either with readers or other healers, and then that different opinions and point of views are always welcome. But I'd like to take the time. I'd like to take the time to thank you for sharing yourself, your knowledge, your information, listening to that inner voice, and telling us the authentic story as it should be told.
Awesome. It was all my pleasure, and thank you very much.
That is great. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you will tune in again next time. Please like, comment, share, ask questions. The channel is open. I can answer on her behalf, and she can come back to the comment section and answer. Maybe you are that father that has the son that is going through the process and you want someone to help guide you. We are available. Ask that question. If you don't ask it, you'll never find the answers. Read, research. Also tune in to yourself, because the answer lies in you. Sometimes what we answer is not our knowledge, but it's that voice that is talking to you, but you can't hear it. So always aim and aspire to heal all parts of yourself. Until next episode, love and light, everyone. Bye.